as you are aware, our superintendent, John Allison, has decided and been accepted by the Olathe School Board to become their new superintendent. He will not leave us until the end of the school year, June the 30th, and so the process of trying to find a new superintendent will begin right after the first of the year. Obviously, we are in shutdown in our district right now, and so to get everybody together is not going to be possible until the first of the year. What our plan is we will be having a executive session board meeting on January the 5th from 4 to 6 p.m. And at that time, the board will be talking about what we want to do for a superintendent search. At this time, I have no idea what we're going to do because we have not talked about it as a board, but we will at that meeting. And then I am hopeful that we will be able to give you an outline of what's going to happen with the superintendent search at the January 9th school board meeting. So we will miss John greatly. He's been a great leader for us. He's taken us in the direction that has increased achievement, and it's also increased behavior, coping within the district, and we are very, very pleased with him. Olathe is lucky to get him, but we will find a superintendent that can lead Wichita on to the next level. So with that said, I am open to your questions.
Last time, 7-8 years ago, it took a year to find Mr. Allison. You're hoping to find somebody in 6 months.
Well, we don't know. That's part of the unknowns at this point. If we have to, we will appoint an interim superintendent. If we can find a superintendent within 6 months, that would be the best, but we don't know if we can do that or not. So we're prepared to do whatever it takes once we've had the discussion as a board on what direction we're going.
And the political climate certainly has changed in the last 8 years. Does that make it more difficult?
Well, just our whole climate with what's happening in Topeka and our budget and everything else makes the superintendent's job much more difficult because obviously every year we're cutting from our budget and that becomes harder and harder to do. So we've got to look for a superintendent that understands how to do budgeting as well as all the other pieces that a large urban superintendent needs to do.
Usually for these kind of searches, you hire a consultant to kind of, I guess, vet out other people. I mean, I know obviously preliminary talks, y'all haven't discussed any of this, but is that something that...
Well, it can be done several ways. It can be done by hiring a national search firm and using their expertise to come into the district. But it also, and in our own district, we've hired from within before. So we truly just don't know at this point. We've got to discuss it as a board.
And I know this might sound generic and cheesy, but what are some of the characteristics and things that you want to bring into the school district, for the upcoming year?
Well, we obviously want a superintendent that can continue to move us forward. MTSS, our behavioral interventions, our academic interventions, all of those pieces need to continue to move. And so we're going to be looking for a superintendent who understands how to lead people, who listens well, who works with the community. All the pieces that we've had over the last 8 years, we want to continue to have. So other than that, I can't give you specifics.
Obviously, you're going to be looking in the state and also possibly candidates from around the country. Are you concerned at all that those that might be interested from around the country would be concerned about the issues, that the budget issues that this state has had, especially with the Topeka funding? Are you concerned that that might tarnish maybe your pool at all?
Well, I think all across the nation, school districts are having funding problems. So that's not unique to Kansas. We just happen to be in a deep dive at the moment. And obviously our superintendent's going to have to understand how to live within a budget, because that's what we have to do, and make cuts if it's necessary, but also use our money in the best way possible so that we get the most lift for our students.
Are you familiar with now Dr. Gibson's, the superintendent in Valley Center, his work in researching the shortage of superintendents across Kansas at all?
I am not familiar with his work. I do know that Kansas, as well as many other states, have a shortage of good superintendents. That I do know.
Do you worry that that shortage is going to make it more difficult? Because I know in previous searches, you guys have always, the board has always said that they wanted somebody with Kansas roots of some sort, sort of connection. And he said that's one of the best ways to keep a superintendent in place for any length of time. are you concerned that that shortage and the fact that Wichita is the biggest district in the state is going to make that difficult this time? I mean,
Well, it's never easy to hire a superintendent. That's a difficult process, but we know where we are and we know where we want to go, and that will help us as we move into this search. You know, there are many good superintendents out there. We just have to find one. Any other questions?
Have you heard from John?
I did hear from him earlier this weekend, and he was at the time still in a quandary about whether to go or stay. This has not been an easy decision for him, but because of the pull of family, I think that's what took him up there. Thank you for coming out here. You know, normally we don't do this, but with school shut down, I couldn't quite see opening up a building for this little conference.